It's a landmark moment for Mexico. The first time that the nation's courts have forced the country's Attorney General to say sorry in public.
The Attorney General's office acted wrongly, affecting your honour and livelihood. This event serves to offer a public apology.
He was speaking to these Otomi indigenous women in the climax to an 11-year struggle for justice. Even now, they find it tough to speak about it.
I was humiliated by the prison guards for being poor and indigenous. It was so difficult being separated from my family.
Indigenous Mexicans are especially vulnerable to discrimination and abuse. Officials charged these women with the kidnapping of 6 armed police officers after a raid at the market where they worked. The case was filled with glaring irregularities, but they still spent 3 years in jail before it was thrown out. Teresa's daughter Yasmin was born there. Jacinta's son died just after she was freed. Her daughter had hard words for the authorities.
Today, the Attorney General's office is forced to admit that this case was an error. This apology is made by mediocre, corrupt, inept officials who made up this crime and framed Jacinta as a criminal.
Her speech empowered those listening to talk about their loved ones. Many are also trapped in an often inefficient and corrupt judicial system. More than 90% of crimes in Mexico go unpunished, and people can spend up to years in jail just waiting for their trial. The indigenous population in particular suffers discrimination. In the case of Jacinta, she wasn't offered an interpreter at her trial, which was her right, despite the fact that she didn't speak Spanish well. The Human Rights Center that followed their case hopes this signals change.
It's
a really powerful message in 2 ways. To the Attorney General's office, it says no to impunity and that their actions will be watched. But also, to Mexico in pain, this is for other victims to resist, struggle, and follow the judicial possibilities that this case leaves open.
The official apology does set a precedent, but as it hasn't come voluntarily, many fear it casts a shadow over the possibility for real change. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.